Okay, so review for Nighthawks, 1981, with Sylvester Stallone, Billy D. Williams, Lindsay Wagner, and Rutger Hauer. Great cast. I've never seen this before. The poster, it has a great poster, I think. It's very striking, with half of their faces on each, with the gun in the middle. So I saw someone review this. I think it was maybe it was Rambo Ralph for Life or OCP Communications. But anyways, I was like, you know what? Let's give this movie a shot. I like the cast. Let's check it out. Budget was $5 million. Box office was about $20 million. So nice little profit. Basically, Rutger Hauer is an international terrorist. He was working, I think, for the IRA in Ireland, but he's in England. In the beginning, he blows up a department store, but there's children inside of it, and even this upsets the people he was working for, and they don't want anything to do with him. And no one will really hire him because they think he's kind of crazy and unpredictable. But he says, like, I have to be because I don't get their attention. Sylvester Stallone and Billy D. Williams are hard knocks, gritty police detectives in New York City. They do a lot of undercover work in the slums, in the Bronx. They like to be, they're basically kind of like men of the people, and they like to be, they're low to the ground. They're not fancy smancy police going after like a bank robber who robs millions of dollars or anything like that. They're kind of low level, gritty. And Rutger Hauer is on the run. He ends up getting his face changed because he kills one of his own men because he thinks he betrayed him, but he didn't. The police just followed him to where he was, and stupidly he kills the guy, and the guy had his passport he was going to give him so he could get out of the country, but it has his face on it. So now they know what he looks like, so he has to change his face. And he is with Persis Kambata. Oh, she's in Star Trek The Motion Picture. Okay. I thought I recognized her. She was the Femina Miss India in 1965. So that's kind of his, I think his lover, and also his accomplice. And she kind of is in the beginning of the movie and then shows up at the end. But, yeah, I did like the movie. I don't think it's like amazing or anything, but it's got a great cast. It's got a good look to it. Kind of the weird thing is it has like 3 directors: Bruce Malmuth, Gary Nelson, and Stallone. I think there was a lot of production problems in the movie. And this is all spoilers. This movie came out a long time ago. If you're a fan of Rutger Hauer, Stallone, Billy D. Williams, I'd say check it out. I really like the cast. Billy D's great. He's great in everything. I've never seen him give a bad performance. Heck, even in Rise of Skywalker, it kind of put a smile on my face that he's in the movie. And that movie's terrible. But at least he got a big paycheck. So, cheers to that. Cheers to Billy D. Williams. But yeah, the script was originally going to be a French Connection 3 movie, with Gene Hackman's Popeye Doyle teamed up with a wisecracking cop, possibly played by Richard Pryor. When Hackman was reluctant to make the third film as Doyle, the idea was scrapped. 20th Century Fox sold the script to Universal, with Shaver reworked into Nighthawks. Paul Schilbert was given a co-story credit, and this was one of the only 2 screenplays, other than the Stiegels, he wrote. The film had 2 working titles, Attack and Hawks. That's a terrible title. Pre-production began in 1979 in preparation for the role of New York City police officers Billy D. Williams and Sylvester Stallone spent several weeks working at nights with the NYPD Street Crime Unit. Yeah, and they have great chemistry in the movie. You can just tell, like, they're friends. There's no, like, bullshit between them, like that they kind of don't like each other or anything. No, they're good friends. They care about each other. Like I said, this is spoilers. At one point, Rutger Hauer has a knife and he slashes Billy D's face, like that, like pretty bad cut. That's a good scene. So Stallone's like holding him and he's yelling like you're dead, I'm gonna get you. Thought that was a really good scene. And then then they go to the hospital. Stallone's there trying to help him. So, I did enjoy that. I also kind of like the twist at the end, which is spoilers, but you know what I'm talking about with Stallone's ex-girlfriend. You think that Rutger Hauer is gonna kidnap her. I thought that was pretty good. They kind of established that Stallone will wear women's clothing sometimes to get the perp he's trying to get. Like in the beginning, he's walking down the street dressed as a woman and these guys surround her. I think they're gonna like rob her, maybe kill her, but it's Stallone. Billy D pops out, they arrest the guys. Thought that was pretty good. Nighthawks marked the American debut of Dutch actor Rutger Hauer to accept the role of Wolfgar. That's an awesome name too, Wolfgar. Hauer turned down a better playing role in Sphinx. Never heard of that. 1981 adventure film. His mother and his best friend died during the filming production, and he returned to the Netherlands for their funerals. The first scene Howard filmed was his death scene. Wow. Okay, so that's at the very end. Obviously. That's the scene I'm talking about. I like that. I like that twist because I like how I thought it was like pretty. I mean, the movie does a good job at this. You think she's gonna get kidnapped. I did, at least. I was like, oh, okay, I see what's gonna happen here. She's gonna get kidnapped. He's gonna be holding a knife to her throat. Stallone's gonna come in. No, I actually like that they don't do that. Thought that was nice. But he was injured twice during this scene. A squib meant to simulate a gunshot exploded on the wrong side, severely burning him. A cable that yanked him simultaneously, the force of being shot was pulled too hard, straining his back. Hauer later learned that the cable was pulled forcefully according to Stallone's order, and the relationship was then marked by disagreement. Although stories about their on-set arguments are still told by fans of the film and the actors, Howard has said in interviews that he did not take the disagreement personally, and the greatest problem during filming was the film's difficulty. In a 1993 interview, Stallone praised Howard's performance. Yeah, I think he's great. He's like, a cold, crazy terrorist. And I like the scene with, when they're in the cable car, and he's with, Persis, her name's Shaka in this, and, he's basically like, don't mess with her, and she has no maternal instincts. It was a little bit ahead of its time. It was dealing with urban terrorism. Now the World Trade Center. At the time, people couldn't relate to it, and the studio Universal didn't believe in it. Rutger Hauer's performance held it together. He was an excellent villain. And that's Stallone saying that. I agree. He's great. According to Hauer, Nighthawks was a missed opportunity, and the issue of international terrorism could have handled more accurately. We had only to play tags. The written story was so much more dangerous. Nighthawks featured one of the few mainstream acting appearances of a porn star. Okay, who plays Lindsay Wagner's character's boss? Oh, okay, so he's in the scene when they're in the disco club or whatever it is. Photography began January 1980. Production ended April 1980 because of problems with Stallone and the studio interference in post-production. The film was heavily re-edited and was released a year after it was finished. The original director, Gary Nelson, who had directed the Disney film Freaky Friday and The Black Hole, but he was dismissed from the project after a week of production and was not credited. I think he is now. Yeah, he is now. At least on IMDb. His replacement, Bruce Malmuth, had only one previous film to his credit. A segment of the 1974 sex comedy Foreplay, though he had directed several Clio award-winning ad campaigns. Recommended to Stallone by Rocky director John G. Avildsen, who had worked with him. Malmuth, en route from Los Angeles to New York City, was unable to make the first day of shooting out after Nelson's removal, and Stallone shot a scene for one day, the chase in the subway. According to Directors Guild America, anyone signed on to work for a movie before the director was engaged cannot replace a fired director, except in an emergency. Arbitration resulted in a fine. Lindsay Wagner said that in an interview that Stallone took over the film because of production problems. He was really incredible, the film, I mean. History has shown that he's so talented with so many different ways. He made Rocky, obviously, before that, directing Rocky 2, 1979, but it was just incredible. They had some difficulties, whatever they were. I wasn't privy to inside information about it. So, yeah, kind of a troubled production. I mean, I will say, I think the last act, it's a little underwhelming. I like the twist at the end, though, but, I don't know, I kind of wanted them two to kind of, a little bit more of a fight, you know? But it was heavily re-edited. Apparently, Rutger Hauer almost quit because his mother and best friend died during the production of the movie, but he was glad that he stayed on because he said it helped his career immensely. There is a cable car scene. Hanging from the cable car was probably this is Stallone, one of my most dangerous stunts when I asked to perform because it was untested and I was asked to hold a folding Gerber knife in my left hand so that if the cable were to snap and I survived the 230-foot fall to the East River, wow, its ice cold 8-mile-an-hour current, I could cut myself in the harness because the cable, when stretched out, weighed more than 300 pounds. I tell you this because it's so stupid to believe that I would survive hitting the water, so to go beyond that is absurd. Yeah, that wow, so that's really Stallone. I thought it was. On the cable car. Great stunt. Is originally penned as The French Connection 3 with Richard Pryor. Some of the movies Richard Pryor was almost in. And then he's like, and then he's in Superman 3, which I don't really like that movie. It has a few moments that I like with Superman, but I don't really think Richard Pryor's good in it. He's not funny either. I'm sorry, that movie's not funny. And it's stupid too, because like he's just some guy, and then he sees like an ad for computer programming, and he's like, okay, I'll go do that, and he just goes and does it, like with no training. It's like, dude, you're not gonna know what you're doing. You're not gonna be able to do anything correctly. According to an interview with Premiere Magazine, Rutger Hauer was told before filming that Sylvester Stallone ran up building stairwells for exercise. However, during the subway chase, Hauer continually outran the American star, who was known for his competitive streak. Stories about the on-set fights between Hauer and Stallone are still talked about amongst fans. In his autobiography, Hauer stated that Stallone had come off a recent string of box office bombs and was in desperate need of a hit movie. Hauer felt that many of the on-set clashes stemmed from Stallone's constant effort to keep tight control over every aspect of the film's production. However, Hauer also said during interviews in later years that he actually didn't take his arguments with Stallone personally. His biggest problem during filming was that it was a very difficult movie to make. So, I think you can see that a little bit in the final product. Like I said, I think their fight at the end is a little weak, maybe. But I did enjoy the movie. It's got a great cast. Billy D. Williams is great as always. I mean, is this the only movie Stallone and him did? Because they actually have great chemistry. It's too bad. I think it is. And what about Hauer? I don't think he was in another Stallone movie either. He's a great villain. You could tell this guy's crazy and truly evil. I mean, at one point he's in a cable car, and he makes a point. There's a mother with her baby. He makes a point to say, "I want Stallone to come up to the cable car," and he has a bunch of like UN diplomats there, that because he wants this to be an international thing, and he tells him to come up, and that he's going to give him a baby to take out of there because of the earlier problem with you know, he blew up a retail store and there were children inside. He's like, I don't want them to think I'm cruel. So I did enjoy his performance. He's kind of like a ladies' man. He even says he's a lady killer. He goes to some discos and picks up a stewardess. He's kind of living with her, but then she pulls out his luggage, and it's full of weapons and grenades and everything. So right when she found that, I was like, yeah, she's dead. And then she is dead. So, but yeah, check it out. Nighthawks, 1981. Not a perfect movie, but I definitely enjoyed it. So, but yeah, that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you're a fan, and I'll see you next time.